Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to look at yet another very important use case that you will be seeing in the AI space. And that is in the legal sector, sifting through evidence, making inferences, perhaps even being able to identify whether a perpetrator is guilty or innocent. Well, let's find out today by using AI to look at the evidence from the O.J. Simpson trial. To do my analysis, I'm going to be using the three major chatbots, AI chatbots out there, which are ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and Anthropic's Claude.ai. Before we get started, let me make a few comments on AI ethics and trustworthy AI. This is a field of AI that's growing and is going to be probably one of the most important fields as AI starts to take over most of our lives. What does it really mean? Well, it means that you want to make sure that the ethics of your AI are correct. In other words, you want to make sure you're using a trustworthy AI. And there's a couple of pillars that people use to identify if an AI is trustworthy. First of all, it has to be non-biased. That means the AI should not present biased information, right? It should not have any bias. Second, it should be explainable and transparent. And what that means is any information it does provide, it should be able to explain how it came to that information and provide you sources for where the information came. An AI model should also be robust, meaning that you shouldn't be able to hack the model and poison the data. And as we go through our video today, we're going to be looking at these chatbots to understand if they're following some of the pillars I mentioned right now. First question, who killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman? I asked all three, let's see what they said. Based on the criminal trial in 1995, O.J. Simpson was accused of killing his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman, but was found not guilty. The case was controversial and received enormous media attention at the time. In a subsequent civil lawsuit in 1997, Simpson was found liable for the wrongful death of Brown and Goldman and was ordered to pay monetary damages to their families. However, the standard of proof is different in civil versus criminal cases. Ultimately, while Simpson was legally held responsible in the civil case, no one was ever criminally convicted for the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. The case remains one of the most famous and divisive legal cases in American history due to the high-profile nature of O.J. Simpson and the societal issues it brought to light around racism, police conduct, and the legal system. That seems very matter-of-fact, very fair, stated the facts, didn't state an opinion. Let's see what ChatGPT said. The murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman remain officially unsolved. However, O.J. Simpson was tried for the murders in 1995 but was acquitted. The case garnered significant media attention and continues to be the subject of speculation and investigation by some. Wasn't the best response from ChatGPT. Let's look at Gemini. Okay. The murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman in 1994 remained unsolved in the criminal justice system. O.J. Simpson, Nicole's ex-husband, was famously acquitted of the murders in a highly publicized trial. Here's the breakdown of the case. The murders. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were found stabbed to death outside Nicole's condo in Los Angeles on June 12, 1994. The trial. O.J. Simpson was arrested and charged with the murders. The subsequent trial, dubbed the trial of the century, became a media sensation. He was ultimately found not guilty by a jury in 1995. Unresolved. No other person has been charged with the murders. The verdict in the criminal trial doesn't mean O.J. Simpson is innocent. It just means the prosecution couldn't convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. Next question. What time did the murders occur? We want to be able to establish a time of death in order to be able to understand where O.J. was at the time of death. So let's see what the AI say. Here's what Claude has to say. According to the reports from infamous O.J. murder case, the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman are estimated to have occurred around 10:15 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on June 12, 1994. Some key details about the timing. Nicole Brown Simpson was expected to return home from her friend's house around 9:30 p.m. that night. Her children were being cared for by Simpson's limo driver. Phone records show Nicole's call to her mother was cut off abruptly at 10:13 p.m. Neighbors reported hearing disturbing thumps and a man's grunt around 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. in the area of Nicole's condo. A limousine driver driving to deliver a pair of glasses to Nicole arrived around 10:55 p.m. and discovered the bodies. Police received a 911 call at 10:59 p.m. reporting the discovery of the bodies. So based on the witness phone records and the condition of the bodies, when found, prosecution argued that the brutal murders likely occurred between 10:15 and 10:30 p.m. Now, based on my understanding of the case, I can already see that I think there's some information that might not be correct here. Like a limousine brought the glasses to Nicole. I thought it was Ron Goldman that brought the glasses to Nicole, but who knows? Let me ask him. Let me ask Claude this question. I thought Ron Goldman brought the glasses to Nicole. Please give me the source of your information. Okay, let me see what ChatGPT said on this. The exact time of the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman is not definitively known. The bodies discovered in June 13, 1994, shortly after midnight. However, the actual time of the murders is uncertain, and there is no witness to the crime. Well, okay, that's also not a bad answer. It didn't go through the evidence. It just stated the facts. The body was found on June 13th. There were some estimates, but it's not known. And also, keep in mind, I'm using ChatGPT 3.5, not GPT-4. I don't know how up-to-date this data is, so this might not be the best one to be testing this against. So let me really just do Gemini and Claude for now. Let's go over to Gemini. Unfortunately, the exact time of the murders, Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman, is not publicly known. While some reports mention sounds heard around 10:45 p.m., investigators haven't released a confirmed time frame. But I think they have. There's been a number of different articles where they've released something, but that's fine. That's still a better answer than guessing, right? So let me come back to Claude and see what Claude said about the timing that it gave me. Oh, well, there you go. Because I said Ron Goldman brought the glasses. Claude told me that it was the limousine driver that brought the glasses. And now Claude is saying, you are correct. The previous information about the limousine driver delivering glasses to Nicole Brown Simpson was mistaken. Let me clarify the details based on credible sources. According to Los Angeles Times coverage of the case, it was Ron Goldman, a waiter from a restaurant where Nicole dined that night, who arrived at her Brentwood hometown home around 10:15 to 10:20 p.m. to return a pair of sunglasses that Nicole's mother had left at the restaurant earlier. The Los Angeles Times report states, prosecutors said Goldman, a waiter from the restaurant where Simpson had dined, arrived at 10:15 p.m. to return a pair of glasses that had been left behind by Simpson's mother earlier in the evening. So you were right. It was Ron Goldman himself, not a limo driver, who brought the glasses to Nicole's home, likely arriving around the same time frame of 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. when the murders are believed to have occurred. Thank you for catching my mistake. I have confirmed the details from authorized Los Angeles Times coverage of the trial. So this is a perfect example to all of you about how these AI chatbots hallucinate. They make up information and it sounds really good, but it's really wrong. And that's why trustworthy AI is a very important space. Maybe the right thing will be to do what Gemini and ChatGPT is doing and not give too much information. It's better to not give too much than to give wrong information. But let's keep going. What was OJ's movements on the day of the murder? Give me a bullet point list with sources. Okay, so Claude says, here's a bullet point summary of OJ Simpson's reported movements on the day of the murders, June 12th. Around 9 a.m., a limousine driver, Alan Park, picked up Simpson from the Rockingham estate. Simpson played 18 holes of golf at the Riviera Night Country Club. Around 5 p.m., Simpson returned home after golfing. 6 p.m., Simpson attended a dance recital of his daughter, Sydney. 7:30 p.m., Simpson's limo driver, Alan Park, dropped him off at his ex-wife Nicole's condo to pick up his daughter, Sydney. Around 9:30 to 10 p.m., Nicole Brown Simpson was believed to have returned to her condo after dining at the Mezzaluna restaurant. 10:15 to 10:30 p.m., estimated time of murders based on witness accounts. 10:55 p.m., Simpson's limo driver attempted to re-enter Nicole's condo to return her sunglasses but discovered the bodies. 11 p.m., police first notified of the murders. Okay. So this is wrong just based on the last statement alone that we discussed with Claude. They've gone back to saying the limo driver found the glasses. So, failed. You have failed. Let's look at Gemini. Okay. In the morning, O.J. Simpson reportedly had a flight scheduled to Chicago for a business trip early on June 12, 1994. There was supposed to be a URL, but I guess it's removed. In the mid-afternoon, Simpson attended a dance recital for his daughter in Chicago around 3:30 p.m. He attended a dance recital for his daughter in Chicago around 3:30 p.m. That's wrong because he was in LA. So how could he attend a recital in Chicago? In the evening, he planned to return to Los Angeles on a late-night flight. There isn't confirmed arrival time in Los Angeles. Simpson called police to report his ex-wife missing sometime after midnight on June 13th. Okay. So this is also incorrect. He was not in Chicago. He left to go to Chicago. Let me ask Gemini. I thought Simpson's daughter's recital was in Los Angeles, not Chicago. There we go. So once again, the AI has shown me it's kind, but it's incorrect. You're absolutely right. I apologize for the mistake. There seems to be some confusion around the details of O.J. Simpson's whereabouts on the day of the murders. According to various sources, including news articles, court documents, O.J. Simpson did attend a school dance recital for his daughter, but it was held in Los Angeles, not Chicago. Okay. Here's what I found. The Los Angeles Times obituary for O.J. Simpson mentions him attending a school dance recital for his daughter, Sydney, on June 12th. Witnesses reported seeing him there. Unfortunately, finding a definitive source specifying the exact time of the recital seems difficult. There may be some info circulating about Chicago recital, so it's important to rely on credible sources like established news outlets. Okay, well, you're the one that gave me the wrong information, Gemini. Okay. Who was the last documented person to see O.J. before the murders, and what time did they see him? Also, what time was the first person to see him after the murders? Determining the exact last documented sighting of O.J. Simpson before the murders and the first sighting after the is challenging due to the nature of the crime scene investigation and witness testimony. Here's what we can glean from credible sources. Last documented sighting before the murders, uncertain time frame. While there is no confirmed last documented sighting with a specific time, witnesses' report suggests O.J. Simpson attended his daughter's recital in Los Angeles. First documented sighting after the murders. Estimated time frame. Most likely time frame for the first sighting after the murders is between 11 p.m. and 11:15 p.m. on June 12th. Here's why. Kato Kaelin, O.J.'s house guest, reported hearing a thump around 10:45 p.m. and went outside to investigate but didn't see O.J. Alan Park, O.J. limo driver, stated he arrived at Simpson's house at 10:25 p.m. and waited until 11:01 p.m. when O.J. finally emerged. The exact time for both sightings are not definitive. Witness accounts can be subjective and may not be perfectly accurate. The lack of confirmed solid alibi for O.J. Simpson during the critical time frame was a key point for the prosecution during the trial. Okay. So you didn't give me a time for the last person to see him. You said the daughter's recital. I don't know what time that was. Let's go over to Claude. What did you say? Based on the reports and timelines from the O.J. Simpson case, the last documented person to see him before the murders was his limousine driver, Alan Park. According to Alan Park's testimony, he dropped O.J. Simpson off at Nicole Brown Simpson's condominium around 7:30 p.m. to pick up his daughter Sydney after her dance recital in Los Angeles. Alan Park was the last person to see O.J. around 7:30 p.m. You can see how they're all giving really different accounts. Now, as somebody who followed the case myself, I know that Kato Kaelin was supposedly the last person to see him because they came back from McDonald's, I believe. But none of them have said this. So I'm also very curious where this data is coming from. But let me ask him. I thought Kato Kaelin was the last person to see him when they returned from McDonald's. Oh, there you go. So you can't trust this. It just said you are absolutely right. My previous information was incorrect. Kato Kaelin, who was staying in O.J. Simpson's guest house at the time, was actually the last known person to see Simpson before the murders, not Alan Park. According to the trial testimony and reports, Kato Kaelin stated that he and O.J. had gone to McDonald's together earlier on the night of June 12th. Kato Kaelin testified that he saw and spoke with O.J. around 9:30 p.m. after they had returned from McDonald's, making him the last known person to have contact with Simpson before the murders between 10:15 and 10:30 p.m. So long story short, people, AI can be used to go through evidence, but not evidence that's found on the internet. It has to come from credible data source like court filings, which I think is confusing this AI because it seems to be looking at court filings, but it also seems to be looking at news articles and blogs, which we all know can be incredibly wrong. And this is proof. AI is just confused. It's probably looked at a bunch of different documents, heard a bunch of different things from a bunch of different websites, all of them just trying to poison people's minds to the point where nobody really knows what is real and what is not. It's still a powerful tool that could be used in the legal space, but in this case, AI was not able to prove anything.